Imagine this. You've got a great story idea you've been working on for months.
You've taken extensive notes on characters, world building, and even some scenes from the story, but for some reason, you just can't figure out how all the amazing events in your head connect. It's a question I had for years as a beginner author. How the heck do I structure a novel? I had the pieces, but I had no idea how to put them together. To make things worse, most writer content creators and blogs on the topic skipped over all of that, instead opting to share easily digestible advice like always use an outline and make sure your chapters are consistent. I thought, okay, but how? How do I make an outline that will ensure my story does stay consistent?
In this video, I'm going to make a sample outline that will tell you exactly how I structure a story. Hello everyone, I'm Renee Rule, and welcome to the Reulerverse, where I tell otherworldly stories and teach you how to do the same. Today we'll be exploring this channel's sample story, Wizards of Darkness, in more detail as I plan the chapters of it.
So here we are in the writing template you can find linked below. As you can see here, I break down novel planning into 4 simplified steps, with free space for you to write ideas to your heart's content. The first thing we want to do in writing a new story is to summarize it. You'll see it every time you open your outline, and it will ensure your vision for the story remains clear. In my version, which you can see is already partially filled in, I included a character chart I made in another video. This part is optional, but for me, it helps keep my characters consistent. Here's a closer look at the chart if you'd like to pause to study it.
Done reading? Good! So the summary for Wizards of Darkness is right here.
It reads, Solaris' village burned down by evil spirits sent by the Dark Lord. To get revenge, he goes on a quest to learn to slay these spirits and restore balance to the world. In doing so, he'll meet friends, foes, and learn what it truly means to be a wizard.
Short, simple, to the point, this is what you want for a summary.
You don't want to make it longer than this because it will distract you from your main goal, writing the main events, which will eventually translate into chapters. Now, for step 2, I've even written the general events I want to happen in the story. This does not have to be completely accurate. The point is to get the scenes you want on the page. The most important events of this story are as follows. Solaris' village burns down thanks to evil spirits. Now an orphan, he wanders to the next village where he is found by the old wizard Oraculus. Oraculus takes Solaris in, bringing him to his wizard tower. There, Solaris meets Mika, a student Oraculus has raised like his daughter. She is happy to have a friend and teaches him magic. After training, Mika and Solaris go on their first spirit-slaying mission. It goes well, until they run into Lunas. She fights them. Furious, they're hunting the spirits. Confused, Mika and Solaris head back home to ask Oraculus about Lunas. He says she's evil and works for the Dark Lord. The Dark Lord continues to send spirits. More and more of them appear, while capable wizards dwindle. Mika wonders where all the wizards are going. On another mission, they run into Lunas again. She confirms that she indeed was allied with the Dark Lord, but she left him. They ask why she's doing this. She says they need to go to a hidden village in the Forbidden Forest. There, all will be revealed. Mika asks Oraculus about the Forbidden Forest, and he tells them they cannot go. It's a trap. Solaris and Mika fight about the right thing to do, with him ultimately convincing her to sneak out and see it anyway. In a hidden crypt in the village, the two find the truth, that evil spirits aren't evil at all. They were once wizards, and they can be redeemed. Furious, Mika wants to confront Oraculus, but Solaris says they can't trust him anymore. She goes anyway, and Oraculus fights them, saying they can't leave his tower now that they know the truth. The two escape. Now destitute, Solaris and Mika look for Lunas. When they find her, they team up. The trio begins liberating spirits to fight against the Dark Lord Noctis. With his army dwindling, they're able to stage an attack on his evil lair. The protagonists win, but now they have to deal with Oraculus. He, however, realizing spirits can indeed be redeemed, admits he was wrong and apologizes. They all live happily ever after, and Solaris and Mika get married or something.
I know this is slightly different from my other video, but I wanted to update it. So this is the new one. We'll use this version from now on.
And finally, here I have some images of the characters. Again, these are completely optional. You don't have to put these in your outline. I just put them in so you can have a visual of them while we plan the chapters.
I mean, it got them off of stock images, so they're about as unique as the concept of the story, but I still think having a visual goes a long way.
Now that you're done with the general summary, it would be time to put the events in order. However, since I've worked on this story before in another video, that's already taken care of. So for this demonstration, I'm going to skip this step and go straight into the chapter planning. If you want to see the events labeled though, here they are.
I know what you're thinking. Okay, Reulerverse, throw me into the deep end, why don't you? Scrolling through all this, it all seems really overwhelming, I know, but don't worry. We're going to take this one step at a time.
Remember the web method video from a while ago? That video where I go over a life hack for planning a story? With our chapter planning today, we're going to employ the web method. That's right, we're going to plan them out of order.
And most of you should know this already, but with this method, you start with the event most clear in your head, and then you branch out.
For this story, I definitely say that's the climax. The plot twist that the evil spirits aren't actually evil at all. They're fallen wizards, and they can be redeemed. Based on the amount of bullet points I have in the general summary, I'm going to guess this would happen around chapter 10. We can always change that later, though. Let's write out how I think this scene will go. And here it is. Solaris and Mika get lost in the Forbidden Forest, tricked by its dark illusions. It's only through working together that they make it to the abandoned village. They look around, noting that the place has many magical items and scrolls. This used to be a village made up entirely of wizards. What happened to them? The two continue to explore, eventually coming across a crypt underneath the oldest house. There they find a book on a pedestal in a room that seems to be for sacrifices. They read it, and it's the writings of a madman, a wizard who claims he lost all his friends to the darkness. He states that his thoughts slip more every day and fears he will lose all logical thoughts soon. He has decided to trap himself in this crypt so he can't hurt anyone. Solaris and Mika hear ominous noises further down and find an evil spirit trapped in an enchanted cage. They realize it is the man who wrote the journal.
See how I structured that? It's almost its own full story. That's what you want to do when you're planning chapters. Treat them all as their own self-contained plot. Then connect them all into one large story.
Finally, all we need to do is write summaries like this another 14 times, and we'll have 15 chapters of content. The beauty of this outline format is that you can easily get to and change events whenever you want.
That way, when you inevitably run into problems writing the chapters, you will have an outline to consult to figure out what went wrong and how to fix it structurally. So without further delay, I'm going to fill in this entire outline with the chapter summaries.
Here is the final product. I'm going to scroll through it really quick because I don't feel like reading it out loud to you guys would be productive. However, if you want to know the full story I came up with, feel free to pause or slow down this part so you can read it. The main thing I want you to notice in this outline is that I separated the chapters into a first and second half. That way the reader will have a chapter break in each one. I also wrote in red bullet points important character or world building information I might need for foreshadowing or to increase reader understanding. These types of notes help with consistency, which is the goal of an outline. However, none of these tricks are mandatory. I've found that they work for me, but you're free to impart your own style. Every writer is different. Finally, when we get to the end, you'll see a cute little secret 5th step here. Yes, that's right. Once you're done with these summaries, you're ready for chapter writing. We will write the chapters for Wizards of Darkness in another video.
And that is it for our writing guide today. It was very fun to put this little generic story together, and I hope it was helpful for you guys. I plan on doing a series of videos where I go through the whole novel writing process. This is only the beginning. So if you want to see that, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next one.
Remember, the template for planning these chapters is down below, and if you want another free writing guide, consider joining my author newsletter. Love you guys.